squad update. How is everyone and how's Rory?
Rory's probably going to miss Saturday's game. He's got a slight tear in his thigh. Thankfully it's not as bad as we'd thought. Initially after the game last Saturday we were fearing the worst with it, but we have been treating that as a grade 1, which is like normally 10 to 16 days, so hopefully he'll just miss the one game, which has been a bit of a godsend for us. We're really pleased with Rory, how he played last week, and obviously it was his first game proper. We'd actually just discussed about getting him off. Both him and Stuart Findlay we were planning to get off. We'd already had a first forced change with Lewis Mayo. So Lewis Mayo having to come off, then Rory having to come off. It was our second stoppage, so as a consequence Stuart Findlay had to play a bit longer before we could make the third sub. But Rory can be pleased. It was a strong team performance. I thought it was a very unfussy performance, very professional. A lot of the types of performances that we've come to expect of ourselves, particularly here at Rugby Park over a bit. No real surprise, and Stuart Findlay's influence was on the team, I think, coming back and getting first clean sheet for a while. I thought his influence was key, even getting Kyle Vassell back onto the bench, even for the aesthetics of it, and try to be in there and having that sort of presence. So I thought all in all the lads did really well. I thought we caused Motherwell problems. A lot's been said about Motherwell sending off, and it was pretty harsh, I think, the first one on reflection. But we were 1-0 up at that time. I thought we were a better team anyway. And it was a very professional, job done performance in the second half.
More of the same you're hoping for then as that?
Yeah, obviously every game's difficult. Some games are more difficult than others, and there's no tougher game than going to Celtic Park for teams. But for us, we've just got to try and do a lot of what we feel we have to do when we go to Celtic, and expect a tough game, but equally try and make it difficult for them.
How's the mood been? Because that was a big win. It moves you up a couple of places. I know it's still very tight. But
yeah.
Just getting back to the Kelly that you kind of recognise a bit more.
Yeah, I think having a few boys back has helped, but I think obviously results. I think the way we dealt with the game, because obviously it was a big game, there was a lot on it, particularly at this stage of the season. It's been well documented for so long now, for months now, by every day involved in football, how tight the league is. And it starts to look even tighter when you run out of games. So it's so important that you try and maximise every opportunity you've got. And I thought last Saturday was a kind of game in point of that, a case in point where there was a lot on the game and the players dealt with it, and that I think will kind of bode well with the upcoming weeks. I think the benefit I have with this team is I've worked with these boys a long time, and if we can get our key players giving us that influence, we normally deal with what we need to deal with. I'm just annoyed that we're getting into the last game before the split, and we're really only a point shy of making this game something. We could have been into this game, and that was always my hope, that we would get into the last couple of games before the split, that we'd still have a real chance at top 6. And I'm just annoyed that we've not gave ourselves that chance. But despite all the kind of difficulties and a lot of the criticisms, we're still quite close to a top 6 team, and it shows you, I think, the nature of the league. We've now got time over the next wee while, over the next few fixtures, particularly when we play teams in the same half of us, to deal with and hammer home what we feel we're a good team, and hopefully we can show that between now and the end of the season. But last Saturday, if that's a kind of illustration of what we're going to get, and I'll take that all day long.
I was just going to say, you saw St Johnstone getting a result. Do you sense there's a weakness on this Celtic side, though, despite the domestic dominance?
I see what you're trying with the question, but no, I don't think there's too many weaknesses. I think it was a bad day for Celtic and a good day for St Johnstone. I thought St Johnstone got an early goal, great set play delivery for Graham Carey, great aggression from Belidis, and it gave them something to hang on to. They almost played 90 minutes of just hanging on, defended well and defended in numbers. The pitch was a bit slow and a bit kind of takes the speed out of the game, and I think it made things a bit more difficult for Celtic, but it shows what can be done. Nobody was really expecting that result. I think Simo even said that before the game, other than themselves. So what we've got to expect is a tough game. Celtic normally, they're top of the league for a reason. They're normally on it, and I think that's something that last Sunday clearly annoyed the manager, and we've got to expect a tough game. But equally, I want us to be a tough opponent.
that kind of mental resilience that every team in the bottom six is going to need after the split as well? Do you want to just keep that going on Saturday with your team to show that as well?
I think Saturday will be a totally different game. I thought we played in the right areas against Motherwell. I thought we dominated a lot of the game, even with 11 men. I thought we were doing the most attacking when we enjoyed a lot of territory. You know, Celtic's average possession this season in the Premier League is 74%. So they're a team who normally dominate the ball. So it's a different type of game in that essence. But we still need to be a wee bit more us. And I thought last Saturday we were a bit more us. We played forward. We carried a goal threat. We were industrious. We worked hard. We were really compact. We gave up very few opportunities. I think Kieran Harris had one shot, I think, in the 93rd minute, a shot for distance. So we are going to have a work cut out to make sure we make good decisions and we defend properly. But hopefully we can take any sort of confidence you can take from that result. I think it was, for me, it was a wee bit more what we need to do and what we need to be in the upcoming games. And Saturday's a different test for it. And sometimes your attacking threat isn't always evident when you play Celtic Park, but we still expect to have good moments in the game and we still expect to try and cause them problems.
You said you had to think quite hard about your team selection last week and just almost give the guys a clean slate. Is it easier this week after that performance from last week, or is it a different game, as you say?
It's a different game, and we've obviously got Rory out and there's one or two others a wee doubt for the game, so we're not settled on the team as it is. We've changed winning teams before, but we've got a forced change anyway. But there was a lot about the game that we liked, and as I say, I thought the influence of certain ones was good. The beauty of a lot of players now, somebody like Stuart Findlay has the ability to make the guys next to him better. That is becoming not a dying trait, but it's like something that used to always be the case. People run about good influence, not only deal with their own game, but allow others to be better. I feel so, like myself and Finlay's are two of these types. So I do think having that sort of influence was key last week.
Is that the kind of talking his teammates through the game, or is it just
the but leading by example, showing experience, wanting to win this situations, dealing with it, staying calm. I thought we looked really calm when we were defending, as opposed to how we were the week before, where we looked a wee bit rattled unnecessarily. And I thought we were just a bit more calm and a bit more kind of sure of ourselves, and obviously getting ourselves in front, a strong start, being at home. There was a lot going for us last week. We 1-0 up, then they got down to 10 men, and it's a different test, but a test that we managed to be really professional.
How was Lewis Mayo?
So Lewis came off. He's not trained with the squad this week. He's done a lot of work with the physio, so we'll just try to limit the impact on his knee, but we're hoping he's fine for the weekend. So he's had a good couple of days to take a step forward towards that. So before I come up here, it looks as if he'll be okay, but obviously he's got another 48 hours to go.
That's your thoughts, Derek, in reaction to Alan Muir's departure from VAR duties. Is that something you don't like to see a man being taken away from his job or whatnot, but repercussions for mistakes from referees? He's been on the end of more than a couple this season. What's your thoughts on what Willie's trying to do there in terms of, if they are not up to standard, they're being sort of scrapped, if you will?
Alan Muir's a very experienced and has shown over a period of time to be a brilliant referee. He's a really good referee, and obviously there's a precedent there being set. It's no surprise to me. It was two high-profile games, and whether they feel the need to, there's been bigger VAR mistakes made with teams like ourselves and St Mirren's and Motherwell and all the rest of it. But two high-profile games, maybe it's quite convenient to do that. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs yet. But all I would say in Alan Muir's defence, he's been a very good referee for a long period of time, a very good fourth official when we've had interactions with him. I don't know the qualities that they need to be in the VAR room, but I can think of a few more who've had a lot of high-profile mistakes as well. So I don't know if it's just down to that. I've no really. It's disappointing to see a good guy be treated that way, but it's like who knows the reasons why.